Hi, I'm Lucas Bayes, and I'm a senior here at Alfred State in the Business Administration program, and I'm here with Dr. Constantine to talk about her time here at Alfred State. So Dr. Constantine, where did you grow up?
I grew up in a small town at Lawrence, New York, in Otsego County, a town of about 500 people, and I grew up on a dairy farm. I went to a small school. I started school with 26 students, 13 of whom graduated with me, and my entire class had 27 students in it when we graduated. So I was used to rural, really rural education, and it's one of the reasons why Alfred feels particularly comfortable to me, because it feels like a small town that I'm in with people with rural ideas. I also want to tell you that I grew up as a dairy farmer's daughter, and that probably is the single most influential part of my growing up. I learned from age 6 years old on that cows need to be milked in the morning and at night, that there's no such thing as being sick, there's no such thing as not being able to go out there, there's no such thing as not meeting your responsibilities. And so I learned what it was to work hard and to enjoy the hard work and to enjoy the fruits of that hard labor at my father's side. I also enjoyed the fact that I had a father that used to dance with me in the barn. We had a phonograph out in the barn, and in between milking cows, if I put on the right waltz by Perry Como, he would say, "Okay, Annie, come on." And in between the hard work, there was this beautiful moment of play where I learned to waltz with my father.
Wow.
And I'm probably the only dairy farmer's daughter that got to waltz with her father in the barn, and then learned to milk cows, and then learned to come to Alfred State College and milk cows and the faculty milking championship, because I had been trained to do that, and I could have gotten up and waltzed at the same time.
So when did you join Alfred State, and what was your title then?
All right, I joined Alfred State in 1974. I was hired as an assistant professor, and I also was directing a small writing lab that we had, and I also was recruited to teach in what was called an outreach program for Vietnam veterans.
Okay.
I started out with only 2 sections of Vietnam veterans, some of whom said to me they couldn't believe that they were in class here at Alfred State College, that a month before they had been slogging around in rice paddies, and here they were in my English class, and I was talking about semicolons with them, and it was a shocking change in their lifestyles. It was a wonderful program that was meant to serve as a bridge between the life that these servicemen had before and reintegrating them into society. It was one of the few programs that actually worked as an outreach to the Vietnam veterans who, as you know, at the time were not as well treated as they should have been.
Yeah.
And Alfred made an effort with this program to bring these students in and to provide them with a semester with essentially remedial math, remedial English, and then several courses in whatever field they might have been interested in pursuing. Many of them stayed and got their degrees here. They were a powerful and unusual class to have. I had them write journals, and some of the things that I read I have never forgotten, and indeed some of them are published in the Veterans Ergo, which is our creative arts magazine. Several of the pieces come from that 1974 class of students who served in Vietnam and who wrote and were willing to have their works published to share.
So what have you enjoyed the most about working here at Alfred State?
Obviously our students. Our students are wonderful, and I have enjoyed working with them. I am still amazed at the amount of trust that our students place in us. I teach freshman composition, and in the freshman composition class I ask students to write journals, and I ask them to share personal parts of their lives. I promise them that the journal is between them and me, and I am constantly amazed at the beautiful stories that students will tell about themselves, the moments that they will share, the insight that they have about themselves, about their parents. Sometimes I'll write a note in the margin that says you need to send this journal to your mother for Mother's Day, because it just so beautifully expresses something that you probably have never told your mother. For example, I had one young man writing, actually I've had this from several of my young men, the first time that they do their laundry, they often dye their underwear various colors because they didn't learn to sort this color from that color, from the other. Or a little girl that wrote, I'm sick, I'm so sick, I've got a headache and I've got a fever, my nose is running, and there's nobody here to bring me Kleenex, and there's nobody here to make chicken soup, and I want my mommy. They write those kinds of things in their journals and share that part of themselves. And sometimes I truly encourage them to share that part or send that note off, because I think a mother should get to hear that occasionally, and a father should get to hear that as well.
So Alfred State has had quite an impact on your life. Can you talk a little bit about what your legacy gift is?
All right, my legacy gift started quite a few years ago. I have, for probably the last 20 years, been endowing little small scholarships on campus. For example, at the Honors Convocation to Phi Theta Kappa graduates, to Educational Opportunities Program graduates, to the outstanding students in the School of Liberal Arts and Sciences, prize money and so forth. But I wanted to make some more permanent donations to the school, and in order to facilitate that, the largest gift that I've given is a $100,000 annuity, which is a lovely attempt both to benefit the school and to benefit my husband and me, because it provides us with a small income for as many years as we live, and it provides the school with $100,000 that they can spend at any point. It's unrestricted. Presumably they will use that to benefit the educational programs here at Alfred, and we will continue to get this small income from it for the rest of our lives. The other two scholarships that I have endowed, one is a memorial scholarship for my son, Paul Edward Constantine Jr. Its purpose is to go to non-traditional students either in the School of Liberal Arts and Sciences, Humanities, or in the School of Social Sciences, because those are the two programs from which he graduated, and he was a non-traditional student, and so I wanted to honor him in that way. The larger scholarship that I'm going to provide to the school, though, is for the Educational Opportunities Program, and I would like that to go to students in the EOP program, because in order to get into the Educational Opportunities Program, one has to have financial need. And sometimes the scholarships are not sufficient for the students. I've had many students that run out of money for their books, or that run out of money for Xeroxing articles in the library, or that run out of money in order to go home for a vacation. And I want to be able to provide for those students as well. And so the $20,000 EOP scholarship is strictly earmarked for EOP students and any needs that the program comes up with. I hope that it will provide for students who do not have enough easy money to come to Alfred, that they will find a place where they can fill a need that they might have. And so my real legacy is that I have probably over 1,000 students across New York State that can say 2 roads diverged in the wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. Yeah. And that's my real legacy. That, plus they can also say but, or, yet, for, and, or, so, or 7 conjunctions I should know, because that's what I insist that students learn on the very first day of freshman composition class, and I don't let them out the door unless they memorize those, and the fact that one needs a comma before them when they are combining 2 sentences. And the reason why I start the first day with that is that's the single most frequent error in writing by a freshman at Alfred State College. So why not start with the editing skill that is most needed, and then after that we can go over others.